When I was 15 years old, when I got this job, I said to myself, I am going to work here until the day that I kill myself. And, hello, I'm still here, so I must be happy, right? I had me a vision. There wasn't any television. But looking into the
Hey everyone, everybody, this is Sean.
And Sarah.
And welcome to another episode of My Future Husband's Face Fucked. I think this is episode 16.
Yes.
Is this the 16th one?
Yes.
I feel like it's the 16th one. It feels like the 16th one.
It feels like the 100th.
Because I've often wondered what would the 16th one feel like. And it feels exactly like I thought it would.
Well, that's good. It feels like 100 to me.
100?
Yeah.
It's an old hat.
It is old hat.
It's old hat.
Getting sick of my voice.
Well, you shouldn't listen to yourself.
Oh.
I don't know. Well, anyways, so we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to kind of, I guess, swap our normal, structure. This is going to be a Thor the Dark World Spoilercast, first and foremost. So it's kind of like a special episode.
Special needs.
Special needs episode, yeah. When it comes to Thor the Dark World.
A little bit.
It's kind of like a special needs kid. Alright, well, let's just get right into it. Let's just talk about it.
So like Sean said, there will be spoilers.
This is a spoiler cast.
So if you haven't seen it yet, turn it off.
Yeah, and if you care, turn it off. Yeah.
We warned you.
You've been warned. What did you think of Thor the Dark World, Sarah?
It's pretty boring. Pretty boring.
I was shocked how bad that movie was.
Yeah. I was actually really excited because, I like Thor. He was one of my favorite.
And the trailer's great.
Trailer's great. One of my favorite comic characters. I, as opposed to you, didn't really mind the first one.
No, I don't mind the first one either. I
liked it more than you did.
I think I like half the movie. I really love the Asgard stuff. I really love, that interplay. I like it when it was Thor. And then when it became a movie to set up the Avengers, again, it lost me. Because it's like you're... And all those... Iron Man 2, Thor, and Captain America to a certain extent. Captain America gets away with it a little bit more because it takes place in the 40s.
Yeah.
But they're all just there to be precursors to the Avengers.
Yes.
In a kind of an obnoxious, distracting way, where it literally takes away from the actual story it's telling. And they all have, weak villains, and, just their plots are kind of muddled, I mean, as far as, trying to tell, a contained story for that movie. In a lot of ways, it's almost it's kind of almost too beholden to comic book structure. And the way that comic books will have kind of weaker issues.
Yeah. To
set up, their big...
The big event.
Their big event issues and stuff like that. So, and the movies are actually kind of very similar in that respect. The standalones are.
Yeah.
And much to my surprise, once you get to the end of Thor the Dark World, you realize, oh shit! This whole movie just only exists so they can set up the fucking next Avengers movie. Or actually the third one.
And what is it?
Because they are introducing, for realsies, the Infinity Gems. And what the Infinity Gems are. So, all these movies always have a MacGuffin. They always have a Deus Ex Machina type of element.
Right.
And the Avengers and Thor and Captain America all use the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Which is one of the Infinity Gems, apparently. And this one, it uses, this dark energy thing.
The ether.
The ether.
Aether. Well, it's spelled aether, but it's said ether.
Ether.
It's supposed to be the substance above the air in the world. There
you go. Drop that comic knowledge, because I don't know.
Well, it's not just comic knowledge. It was just common knowledge. There's a lot of philosophers in time thought there was another level of substance to the atmosphere.
Yeah, they call it the ether. Yeah.
So that's where it comes from, but what it is...
Also, some people huff it.
Yes.
Not the same thing.
No.
Although in Thor the Dark World, it is kind of the same thing, considering
that ether spells an E. This one's A-E. T-H-E-R.
You're such a snob. Nah, just kidding. No, I know. I was just making a joke, literalist.
Wasn't that funny?
Suck the fun out of the room. Well, I was going to say, because in Thor the Dark World, the ether, whatever you want to call it, is actually kind of ingested by a person. So that's the connection I was making, and that's the joke I was making.
It wasn't.
Thanks for ruining it.
You're welcome.
Miss Dane Cook over here. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not talking to you the rest of the night.
This podcast is over. Goodbye.
Drop the mic. Boom.
But yeah, so it kind of like, and that's another problem I always had with these movies is like they are like just, they're not complete in their own because they're not allowed to be, because they're just there to set up their events. The events, which in the events in the cinematic universe of the Avengers film.
You know, and I don't think Iron Man 3 did that though, really. In a like really obverse way.
Actually, Iron Man 3 is a great like usage of the history that had come like before it in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and still told its own contained story.
No, that's what I mean. And then and then it wasn't so obviously and overtly.
Yeah, because Iron Man 3 doesn't really set anything up, does it?
Iron Man 3? Not really.
I mean, yeah, it felt very contained. Because I think there was a little bit of a concern on their part whether Robert Downey Jr. really wanted to continue the character.
Which he should, because he's a fantastic Tony Stark.
Well, I know, but that'll be like his 5th time doing it, so he's like...
It's a little...
I understand, like, it's kind of like, alright, maybe I should get out while the getting's good, if you will. Like...
And I think Iron Man 3 is a good note to end on, then.
Well, in Iron Man 3, it kind of does close his arc in a lot of ways. I mean, it's still open. You can still obviously go on with that character. But as far as, like, the emotional journey that was started in the original Iron Man and kind of his maturity and everything like that, like, does come to a close, and he comes to, like, a realization and a collective, like, idea about, like, his place in the universe and what it means to be Iron Man and the responsibilities of it.
And side note, I said this to you when we rewatched the Avengers before we went and saw Thor.
Yeah.
The Dark World. And I always noticed, why is always Tony Stark shit getting fucked up in all these movies?
Yeah,
like his buildings, his house.
Because Tony Stark, in those movies, the movies that he's in, is a lot like Wolverine in the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
He's the main character.
No, I understand.
So all the central conflicts kind of have to surround him.
Yeah.
And his stuff.
Fair enough. I mean? But I feel bad for the guy. But he's got money to fix it.
He's got money. He's good. He's fine. I think he'll be okay. He's not going to be like Bruce Wayne and let some terrorist organization, do some dangerous trading and lose all his money.
But to continue on what you were saying, I kind of feel Thor. He says that he's going to be the guardian of all the realms, of all the 9 realms, and he's going to be the guardian of Earth. He doesn't want to be king, and I think they tried to make that very poignant at the end of the Dark World, but I didn't really believe it or really feel its relevance. So you don't really get that aspect of Thor that he is going to be the protector of Earth from Asgard, which is the big thing about Thor.
There is no cohesiveness to that story, like that arc, right?
Yeah.
It's implied but never really developed. Other than his relationship with this Jane woman, that's why he feels it's kind of really weak.
Yeah, it's not him saying these are people too that need to be defended and I have the power to do so.
Yeah, these are the most at a disadvantage beings in all the realms.
Right.
Because they don't have the magic and blah blah blah.
Yeah, because even in this movie they mentioned that Thor kind of neglected Earth because he had to fight for the other realms. So he's not really a guardian of Earth, and you're right. It's only because Natalie Portman fucking lives there.
Natalie Portman, who is actually really terrible in this movie, really did
kind of dead.
Kind of walk through this movie, which actually I found out that she didn't want it off the movie. She didn't want to be in it. She was contractually obligated.
Oh,
because there was originally another director signed onto it.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. It was a female director. And once that director left the project for creative differences, she wanted out. She was very unhappy about it, and she let it be known.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so I think what you're seeing there is kind of that. Because there's not even, any chemistry between her and Chris Hemsworth, even.
Which, she's crazy.
Yeah, how can you not have chemistry? The man's so charming.
He's adorable.
But the thing with this movie is, it's so stuffed with, concepts. It's very much falls under, sequelitis.
Yep.
They're trying to do so much that it has no time to actually pay off anything that it's doing.
Yeah.
Just exposition, because they constantly have to make sure you understand what's happening, what they have to do. So they talk about the fact that the worlds are lining up and the dimensions or whatever kind of intermingle or whatever.
And it only happens once every 15,000 years.
Yeah. Is it 15,000?
Or is it 1,500?
No, I thought it was 5,000.
Oh. There's a 5 in there.
Yeah. One of those things with 5s.
Yeah.
45.
50. 5.
500,000 years. 5 kajillion years. Doesn't really matter.
It's a long fucking time.
No, it's 5,000 years because Malekith, the cardboard cutout villain that you know nothing about and don't care about to any degree.
You just know he's a dark elf.
And you barely know why he wants to do what he wants to do. Because he has no development whatsoever. Well, he was asleep for 5,000 years.
Oh, okay.
And then they wake him up for this.
He gets woken up by the ether.
Is that what he gets woken up when the ether gets activated?
Yeah, because that's when the ether gets activated. It gives power back to the dark elves. See, who was paying attention?
You were paying attention. Very, very well done.
Yay, gold star.
For Sarah, this is a big deal.
Shut up. Get out of town.
I'm kidding.
No, you're not. You're half kidding.
Half kidding.
Yeah.
You can't take out your phone in a movie theater. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck off.
You know what I'm saying, America? Anyways, but, yeah, it's just and then Thor, they imply the arc, like he said, about him not really wanting to be the king, and not wanting but I didn't even remember that really being a thing until Anthony Hopkins, or Woden, has that conversation with him at the end of the movie. I don't even remember them talking about,
No, he kind of says, No, you're right, because in the first Thor, he talks about how he will make him proud.
King. Well, and that's the whole part of it is, Thor's arc is hubris, and, his pride, and his arrogance, and he's already gone through that journey through the first Thor and the Avengers, so in this one, he was kind of boring. It's Chris Hemsworth is a really good Thor, and he's very charismatic, and I think he's handsome, and he does a really great job, I think. But, he had nothing to do, and there was no growth. I didn't feel like he learned anything, or anything really happened.
Those muscles grew.
Because he still kind of does the same things that he was doing in the other one. I'll trust Loki again. Sure, why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, which is another problem I had with that movie. I understand Loki's very popular.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite.
But you gotta use him and then not use him. It's almost why is Loki part of the cast? He's a staple now. He's one of the Marvel characters. Is that the way it is in the comic books? I'm not super familiar with Thor.
There is a lot of tension with Loki and Thor, and he was a big prominent character. Yeah. He's actually listed on several, if you look up the top supervillains, he's always on there.
He's always on there, yeah.
Yeah, and there was a lot of struggle between the brothers. I actually have a really sweet issue with one of the covers is badass showdown picture of Thor versus Loki.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, check that out.
It's over there.
It's over there.
It might be in the box at home. I don't know.
Okay.
So if it's in the box at home, I'll have to get it.
Yeah, but that's the thing with this movie. It's just from a basic just plot development and stuff like that, it's just really weak. And in a weird way, it's another one of these instances with these big blockbuster movies where not a lot happens.
And I don't care about Kat Dennings' character. I don't know why that's.
Oh my god! This movie.
Dude, even in the first movie, her character was just a whole bunch of LOL, and literally she would say LOL, or she was texting and she was a dumb teenager that blah blah.
Honest to blog.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Sorry.
No, and it bothers me, and then, the fact that she's still, there's a good chunk of the movie where it's her, being kind of whiny.
Well, this movie, is so tonally all over the place. Because it wants it to be dark and serious, and other times it's, a wacky comedy, and people only speak in quips, which gets really grating after a while, and it also makes it less special. It makes things actually less funny. As it goes on, it gets wearing on you. It
takes away from Loki's playful nature. I understand Loki's playful in a way because he's always trying to doing the flip side of things, but it takes away from his playful nature, and you're just kind of a dumb douchebag.
Yeah, it does get like that. Where you're just come on, dude, whatever. It's in the first Thor, I thought they used it effectively, his playful nature. In Avengers, I think they did a really great job with Loki.
Yeah.
In this one, it was overkill. It's this is what fans respond to. This is why they like Loki. So let's just fucking pump the script full of Loki just cracking wise all the time. You know what I mean? And it's just...
I like her.
Shut up. Oh my god. Oh my god. It was so bad. Like, the more I think about that movie, the less I like it. Because when we were in the car, and you said to me, like, I actually think that was worse than the first one. And I was like, I don't really know. But, like, now that I've, like, sat on it, I was like, yeah, I think I agree with you. I think the first one's just more cohesive, just makes more sense. Even though I don't like the first one very much.
It's still better.
It's still better, yeah. Because even though, like, it gets weak in its second half, like, it still makes sense. Like, this one doesn't even really make that much sense in a way. Like,
it resolved things really fast, too.
Yeah, it was super rushed. Like, the last 30 minutes are, like, so many things happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's like... And because they spent an hour dicking around in the beginning of the movie. Which was so weird.
Yeah.
Like, I was like when is this movie going to start?
Why do I care that Natalie Portman's going on a date?
Well, I understand. You know why they did that? It's because they were trying to set up there's two love triangles. There was the one with, like... Or they were trying to set up, like, a love conflict situation, right? Because Odin wants Thor to, like, basically be like, why don't you pay attention to one of your comrades, Sif? Who's a fantastic... Which, that's another... Well, I'm going to talk about that afterwards. But anyways. So, so Odin wants to, like, wants him to kind of be with Sif and, like, you know, be somebody of your kind and of your ilk and of your stature. And, like... And Thor wants to be with Natalie Portman. And but to give, like, her character, quote-unquote... like some dynamic or whatever, she has to have like a love interest.
Get her mind off of Thor because he hasn't been back.
But it's just there to create conflict. But then if you're going to set it up, like, why don't you do anything with it? And then if you are going to have it, why couldn't they? Because it's been 2 years apparently have gone by since the original Thor, like in their timeline. Why couldn't she have been dating this dude for like a year and actually make it a thing?
Yeah, because instead of him just being in the car with her at one point and her talking on the cell phone to that guy and him being like, who is that? Like, and that's all they do with it.
And that's the joke. Yeah, oh no, it's actually when they're in, like, that's where how they find the portal back to Earth or whatever. That part.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, portal back to Earth, like, he calls her, she's like, I have cell reception, like, oh, blah, blah, blah.
And he's like, who is that?
Yeah.
But it doesn't cause any tension.
No, it's totally superfluous. It's not even needed.
No, that's what I meant. That's what I meant when I said, like, why do I care that she even went on that date? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that was, like, a good 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, the first hour is, like, incredibly... I just, like, shake my head, like, what is going on? Like, I was in the movie theater, like, as every minute ticked by, like, my heart just dropping, like, and just being bored, and to the point where I just started laughing at the movie when I wasn't supposed to be laughing at it. Not for the reasons they wanted me to laugh at it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, this is just fucking getting stupid. Like, it's just, even in the, considering it's, like, a comic book movie, it's fucking stupid.
And the fights were boring.
Fights weren't that great, yeah.
I didn't really care. I really wasn't affected by the mother's death.
I wonder why. Because we don't know anything about her. She's in the movie for like 2 minutes in the first Thor.
We know she's a caring
and she's in
mother.
it for 5 minutes in this.
Yeah, we know she's a caring mother.
Yeah, Frigga dies. And I guess, like...
Banging the desk. You're getting angry.
I guess, like, maybe they just... They can never reconcile, like, who these movies are for, I guess. Because, like, with something like Frigga's death, right? Like, Thor's mother. I guess they're maybe assuming, like, oh, you know who she is because you read the comic book. This is for comic book fans. For everybody else, this is, like, just emotional shorthand. They lost their mother. Like, anybody can empathize with that.
Yeah, you kind of said when we left the theater that this was made for, like, 15, 16-year-olds. And to prove that, we went and saw it with your young sister who's around that age. She liked it.
I thought it was made for, like, 15-year-old girls, specifically.
Yeah, and she loved it.
It's very, like, in the vein of, like, shows... like CW shows, almost. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of, like, how it felt.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, with a big budget.
Yeah.
Where you got your hunky heroes, and their kind of romantic entanglements, and, like... And just melodrama that's not very good, or earned.
It's One Tree Hill.
It's not earned. Like,
it's One Tree Hill.
Well, I mean, like, even, like, Smallville and stuff like that.
I never watched Smallville.
It's made for teenagers. Like, it's what it is. Like, it's made for, like, 14-year-old girls, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Which is, Buffy the Vampire Slayer overall is pretty well done. But there is... it kind of, like, felt like watching, like, a bad episode of television. Just, like, dragged out for an extra half hour.
More than that. It felt super long.
It did, and it's under 2 hours, too. Like, it's not even as long as, I think, the first Thor.
Yeah, because I even remember I looked at my phone to see what time it was, and I was like, we still have an hour left. Oh, my God.
I mean, I would actually hope that they actually cut a lot of this movie out, because if this is kind of like a representation of their script, like, I don't know, how the fuck did this get into production? How is this the story they chose?
Yeah, I don't know.
And another thing, and this is a question I have for you.
Sure.
Because you're way more familiar with the Thor mythos in the Marvel universe than I am, but, like, are his, like, cohorts, his comrades, like, a big part of Thor? Like,
not really.
Not really?
Not, like, huge.
Like in the stories and stuff, they're not, like, kind of always there, like, kind of helping Thor out and going on adventures with him and stuff?
Not from my recollection. I may be incorrect, and people correct me if I'm wrong, you know. But from my recollection, I don't really remember a ton of cohorts, you know. I'm going to look into that.
Or do you think that were they brought on later or something?
Maybe late. I think they were more later.
Well, what is the era you're more familiar with as far as Thor goes?
The 90s.
The 90s?
I'm mostly 90s Marvel. Some of the classic X-Men, which is like late 80s.
Yeah.
But I'm mostly like 90s Marvel.
Okay.
So, and a lot of what I remember was just Thor. Being Thor.
Well, because the reason
I mean, like I said, it's been a while since I've read a lot of Thor. I read it when I was young.
Yeah. Well, because the reason I asked that was because, like, they have a pretty good group of actors playing those parts, and they don't even do anything with them, and they don't feel like they're part of, like, everything feels so shortchanged.
I thought from the trailer they were going to be a bigger part of the movie than just the one plan.
Well, because that's the thing, like,
I thought there was going to be more, like, fighting in Asgard.
I don't know why, like, at the end, like, because I don't know what lesson Thor learned. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what his arc was, other than, like, I want to be the protector of Earth.
Well, I think what they kind of were trying to push, and it was a very weak job at doing so, I think they were trying to push, like, so he commits treason. But he does it in the name of the greater good. Whether it's
well, he shows
against...
that he's wise.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So I think they were trying to show that he's grown and matured with that, but he's also going to do what it takes to do the right thing.
And take the risks.
And take the risks. Yeah, I think that was their big overarching, like, message or, like, lesson learned of Thor in this movie. It's very weak.
Yeah, it never felt that
because
way.
Even, like, they make kind of a big deal about the fact that he is committing treason against Odin.
Well, they say it a bunch of times.
They say it a bunch of times, and everyone helps him do it. But, like, I didn't feel really impacted by it.
Because it should have been, like...
Because he
should have had to convince them. Like, they shouldn't have been so easily convinced, I guess. Like, listen, you're talking about going against Odin. Like, it should have been a big deal.
They don't really make... Odin doesn't feel like a force to be reckoned with in this movie either. He talks a big talk.
Yeah, and it helps they get Anthony Hopkins, but even him like... I feel kind of bad, because I feel like Anthony Hopkins is just getting too old to, like, really hold weight or gravity. He actually... Maybe this is appropriate, actually, because he wants Thor to take over as king at the end of the movie. Like, he just looks like a frail old man, like, that he can't really do it anymore.
Yeah. With his golden metal eye patch.
Which is sweet, by the way.
Yeah.
I love the way he looks. I think he looks awesome. And I love Anthony Hopkins, don't get me wrong. So,
me too.
But I guess maybe that's a subtle... Maybe it was a subtle character thing, I guess, maybe. Because I would take that back, what I just said.
And I think that's what the whole, like, rejection of him being king of Asgard, where he's like, I need to be protector of all the realms, so I need to not just sit on a throne, kind of thing. But it's still, again, it's really ineffective and, like, kind of watered down.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is like a bad drink a bartender makes you.
Yeah.
Like a watery Jack and Coke.
Kind of, yeah.
Or the one time I ordered a soda and whiskey, and I got seltzer water and whiskey, and it was the worst drink I've ever had because the guy didn't understand. It was a miscommunication of bar terms when I really meant, like, Coke
You meant Coke.
But I just said soda because I probably had a few drinks in me.
Yeah.
And he put soda water in there.
Give me some of that tonic.
Yeah, gave me some soda water with whiskey. It was literally the worst thing ever.
That sounds terrible.
I'd compare that to this movie.
Okay. This being the worst thing ever.
Yeah, one of them.
I don't know if it's the worst.
No, but it's like a really watered down, spritzy drink.
Okay. Another thing...
It's flavors that shouldn't meld in your mouth.
They should not be together, yeah.
Yeah.
should not be together.
No.
Well, it's like, and another thing was just spectacularly weak was like the villain and his plan. I think we kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. I have no fucking idea, like, really what his motivation is, other than, like, I want to be evil, like, and take over the world. They don't even do a good job with that, because they literally give him nothing to do.
He wants everything to turn back to darkness.
Yeah, he wants everything to be the dark world because he thinks the dark world's awesome.
That's not... No, he wants everything to turn to dark so his race can take over.
Yeah, so he wants everything to be the dark world.
Yeah.
He wants to change all the realms into the dark world.
And he gets powered by the ether. Oh, that weird, like...
That gives him his superpowers, which apparently don't really matter, because Thor is able to just pretty much just throw his hammer at him. That's how Thor solves that problem. Actually, no, I take that back. I totally fucking lied.
Stop lying.
Because he throws these spears that have, like, these... where their temporal displacements are or whatever, and Natalie Portman just turn a knob, and his body parts disappear.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I was fine with that, but it's just like, just dumb. Just dumb. Dumb.
It was pretty dumb.
And, like, you got a great actor, Christopher Eccleston. He's a really good actor. Interesting actor to play that part, and you don't do anything with him, and he's boring.
He's got some pretty sweet ears, though.
What is it with these Marvel movies and, like, not understanding, like...
The development of the villain?
Yeah, like, or your movie is really only as good as your villain, because a hero is, like, it's almost like a given. And you really have to make a good villain, because you have to feel there's a threat that feels like a threat.
Not just, like, obvious, like, I am a threat, and then, like, meh.
I mean, because even when they do the whole, like, storming Asgard stuff, I was never invested. Like, I never...
Yeah, you're like...
I didn't care, because I know it's going to end up, like, good, but there's not even any tension there.
No, it's just like a whole bunch of soldiers flopping over.
You know, it's like in the way that, like, I think, like, it's something like The Dark Knight.
I was actually just thinking that.
Yeah, like, the way they developed the Joker is just enough to make him feel menacing and make you feel like there's, like, bad things can happen.
Yeah, and I think that was the fault.
And that movie actually does it. Like,
and there's the fault of Dark Knight Rises with Talia.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a comparison we can put. It's in the DC realm, but it's something Marvel doesn't completely do really ever. I mean,
ever.
I think, no, because even
Marvel's really safe, and their comics are very safe.
No, but in the comics, the villains are pretty badass. Some of my favorite villains are Marvel villains, like Carnage and Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
But, like... for some reason, they don't translate them well into the films. And I think that's also why sometimes I get kind of frustrated with, like, they don't feel like the comic books to me. Especially the X-Men movies. Because I feel like Magneto's the only one they spend a ton of...
Well, the X-Men movies are not included in the Marvel Studios stuff. They're not considered part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
My bad. My BEO.
They're owned by Fox, and Fox is not going to give the rights up to that. They're not going to let the X-Men rights lapse like they did with Daredevil. They're not going to.
My BEO. But, no, I mean, that's the problems I have with the Spider-Man movies, too, I think, sometimes.
Oh, I think you're dead wrong.
I'm not dead. Oh, shut up. You're just a Sam Raimi apologist.
Spider-Man 1 and 2 are great.
Okay, I think Green Goblin was probably the best.
I think Doc Ock not as good as the Green Goblin as far as development went. But he's given that classic tragedy like background where he's a good person that falls.
And at least they tried with the Amazing, even though it was pretty bad, the Amazing Spider-Man, they tried to develop Lizard.
Yeah, and it wasn't really... The problem with the way that movie was constructed, it was like... They tried to, like, do this really contrived, convoluted, like, tie-in to his parents and destiny and, like, and his genetics, and, like, it just was dumb. Like, it's just overcomplicated and stupid.
I agree.
I don't even think that stuff has any bearing in the comic books either, which just makes it even weirder that they did that.
Yeah, and that's why the Fantastic Four movie was terrible. Their Doctor Doom was terrible.
Their Doctor Doom is not very... I think he's... If they had just done the more... Because there are elements of classic Doctor Doom there.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they're colleagues and blah, blah, blah. And I think once he actually becomes Doctor Doom, for lack of a better way to put it, like, I think he's pretty good in the suit.
The suit was terrible looking.
Yeah, because that movie's a little bit cheap in general. Like, just kind of cheaply made.
And I don't know why Captain America kept lighting himself on fire, but come on.
But come on. Fantastic Four movies, like, I don't hate those movies, but, like, I
do.
I don't love them, but I don't hate them either.
I also hate the Fantastic Four, that's why I like Doctor Doom.
That's terrible. That's a terrible thing to say. Admit to the entire Americas.
Well, I admit it.
And beyond. This is international.
Oh, well, I admit it to the world, and I stick by it. No, as a kid, that's why I like Doctor Doom. I wasn't a big Fantastic Four fan, so I was always... And plus,
for Doom.
Fucking's got his own, like, country and army. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think that's...
He's just this cold man with a weird scarred face.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you also got to remember, like, when those movies were made, and, like, they were not giving those movies those budgets. They weren't, like...
Remake it,
because they are, actually.
With Doom?
I assume, because he's the big Doctor, or Fantastic Four villain. The guy who's directing it, makes me a little hopeful, is Josh Trank, and he directed, his first movie was Chronicle, which is superhero-esque. It's like a grounded superhero origin type thing, kind of like Unbreakable, but done in found footage format, which you've never seen Unbreakable either.
Nope.
But yeah, actually I have Chronicle. We should watch it.
Okay.
I'll
add it to the list.
That gives me some hope for that movie actually might be really good, and apparently he's a huge Fantastic Four fan. So
that's good.
So it's cool that they put that in the same way, like, and like I think you're like what you respond to more in those, like, Spider-Man, for instance, is like it harkens back to Golden Age Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's not dealing with, like, the Amazing Spider-Man era,
which is what I grew up with.
Yeah, or Ultimate Spider-Man era rather.
Amazing Spider-Man's later. I do have a few of those issues.
Well, I think that's just, like, the main run has always been the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then there was Ultimate Spider-Man and fucking whatever else, because Marvel just... And now DC does the same thing, where it's, like, 5 different continuities for... Not even 5 different continuities. Actually, Marvel does do weird continuity stuff. But, like 5 different independent comic book runs that all take place in the same continuity with the same characters.
Yep.
I find it so aggravating because it's so transparently just so that you have to buy all of these comics to fully grasp what is going on.
Yeah.
I hate that. I cannot stand. That's why I'm a big fan. So I always liked DC or older DC, because now with the New 52 they do the same shit that Marvel was doing, has been doing for years, and but that's why I always loved graphic novels. Because I like having, like, the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
I can't stand just perpetual fucking having to just read them every week. Being
in a land of constant wonder, you're boring.
Well, there's no resolutions. Nothing ever ends, and it just always drags on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just terrible. Mm-hmm. That's a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
So let's get back on track here. Talking about Thor: The Dark World.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, it's okay, though, because I think it's all relevant.
Of course it is, because we're talking about it.
Yes, exactly. And it's all Marvel superhero stuff. I mean, like... Yeah, I don't understand, like, what their deal is with the villains, man. Like, they've never had a good villain in any of them, including the Avengers. Because they just recycled Loki. Even though I know Loki's working for somebody else, because they have, like, this grander thing, but at a certain point, you gotta stop trying to set up other movies. Like, tell me a fucking story that I can watch and enjoy and have it be succinct. You can leave the door open.
Like Iron Man 3.
Like Iron Man 3. It leaves the door open, but it also closes... It opens another door, but closes the one that was started.
Yeah.
You know, so I felt like there was a catharsis, there's a completion to that arc, to that part of that character's journey. And if that was the last one Robert Downey Jr. made, and they just recast him, I would feel fine with that. Because he can't play it forever, obviously.
Yes, he can.
Yes, he can.
I say so.
But, like, it felt complete. Like, you know what I like? And that's, like, a thing about, like, the X-Men movies. Like, I wish there was, like, a complete journey.
They start them, they don't really finish them.
Yeah. I mean, like...
They start a lot of side stories arcs that were really popular in the comic books, but don't ever really finish them, or they kind of brush over them.
Well, that's the kind of same thing Marvel does, but Marvel Studios, rather.
Yeah.
Like, this Marvel
cinematic... Yeah, you gotta clarify when we're having this discussion.
Marvel Studios and their cinematic universe, like... I don't know who... Are these movies for comic book fans or the general public? I mean, they're trying to have both, right?
Yeah, they are.
Because, like, you use a character like Malefic, or whatever this dude's name is, Dark Elf guy.
I like that name better.
And because I was listening to somebody else like talk about the movie, and they were equally disappointed, kind of for the same reasons. Maybe not with much venom, but they're big comic book aficionado people, and they were just like, "Why? Like, if you're gonna use the character, then use the character. Don't just like have like this person that has nothing to do with that character just so you can use the name,
like a placeholder." Yeah,
it's just to attract people. Like, oh, Malefic's gonna be in this. And that'll get some people to go see the movie, but then they go see the movie and it's not Malefic. It's just some dude with his name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because apparently Malefic sounded like a really interesting character. He's like a sadist.
Yeah.
And, he gets off on just, like, torturing, and he's like a master strategist, and you never, ever get a sense of anything like that in Thor.
Nope. Nope, not at all.
I mean, to the point of just nothing. Nothing happens.
Nope.
And then you have like Captain America, the first Avenger. They actually use Red Skull, the main Captain America villain, and fucking do nothing with him.
It's been a while since I've watched Captain America.
It's
been like over a year.
Because Captain America, I like Captain America in a very general, broad sense. Like, and I thought they did a great job. I think Chris Evans is I think actually all the people they cast in these movies has been really well done. Yeah. I think the casting is fantastic for the characters. And like the first hour of Captain America is like really great. It's like it's actually, and there's a reason why it feels this way, but it feels like The Rocketeer.
Yeah.
It takes place in it's the same director.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So it felt like Rocketeer, and I really actually have quite a fondness for like The Rocketeer. And then it just turns into montages of action scenes, and then the movie ends. And there's no like more growth, it's just like it's really weak. And they wasted Red Skull. Like, how do you waste Red Skull? Like, he's supposed to be a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, and then you keep using Loki, who just in my mind I can't accept him as like a major villain for some reason.
But he is.
Is he?
Yes.
Or is he always somebody's lackey? Is he always working with somebody else? And then
he's always working with several people because he's trying to get his way.
Yeah, and he's screwing everybody over, and there's a lot of...
He's the trickster.
Yeah, I get that. I guess I just don't... Like, it's not very entertaining the third time.
Yeah. No, I get that. It's like, why don't you do something fresh, but... You don't.
But you don't. And I understand they kind of cast him as, like, a co-hero a little bit in this one.
Yeah.
Because they have similar interests in revenge, which kind of also undercuts Thor's actual lesson that he's supposed to be learning.
Yeah.
About doing, like, responsibility and stuff like that. Like, oh, but it's okay to engage in just bloodthirsty revenge, I guess. Because that's what a good ruler would do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. It's just very confused. It's a very confused movie, and I'm very confused thinking about it. It makes my head hurt.
Yeah, I can tell by the squint in your eye.
One of my friends left a thing on Facebook, and I thought it was very apt. It's like, it's the best Lord of the Rings movie George Lucas ever made.
Yeah.
I think that's what he said. If you hear this, correct me. But, like, and I think that's totally appropriate, because it's flat and, like, lifeless, with bad humor, and Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Star Wars connection.
And Kat Denning.
And because it's like, you know, I mean, I really wanted to like the movie.
Yeah, I did too. I went in pretty excited.
I loved that trailer. I wrote about the trailer because of how much I actually liked it.
I know.
And I've been waiting for Marvel to make a movie that I'll actually, like, really be able to, like, get behind and like. Because this should be, like, right up my alley. It's like superhero movies. That's awesome. Like, we've waited our entire lives to see, like, superhero movies.
Like, epic movies.
Epic, like, these, like, movies that are kind of serialized and have continuity with each other, and, like, that's awesome. And they're all really mediocre.
Yep.
The only, like, I see a lot of, like, just Marvel, like, sycophants will probably defend this movie to their last breath.
Yeah, of
or
course.
These movies, because, like, they get to bring in all this comic book knowledge, but at the same time, I don't even know why they would like it, because it doesn't, like...
align with that, really.
Align with it. And it just, like, kind of... and which I'm fine with. I'm fine with as like a comic book fan or a moviegoer. I want something different when I go to the movies, and movies and comic books require different things to be successful. And I don't think Marvel has really figured that out really in any real way. They're just like really lucky that these movies have made as much, like they just keep making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they're able to continue making them. But that doesn't. But then I'm conflicted as well, because I am excited for a couple of the Marvel movies that are coming out.
Which ones?
I'm looking forward to Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man's gonna be good.
Because Edgar Wright, that's somebody like I trust. As a filmmaker, I've liked all of his movies, so I have like a consumer's trust with him.
Yeah.
And also Guardians of the Galaxy. This sounds really interesting.
Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro is one of the people in it.
I know.
But that sounds actually like
actors,
sounds like actually like an interesting cast of characters. It's kind of left field. It's kind of goofy action comedy stuff. It's directed by James Gunn, and I liked the other two James Gunn movies. He did Slither and Super.
Yeah, Super was good.
He's a really interesting like director who makes kind of weird movies. Does what he wants to do. He's got a weird sensibility, and so I'm excited to see something like that. So I guess we'll see. I don't know.
We will.
But these movies, and then I watched like the Captain America trailer again because we saw it again in the theater.
Yeah.
And it
looks stupid.
I don't know if it doesn't look stupid. I don't think it looks stupid.
I was not interested.
Really? Well, you don't like Captain America. I mean, which I don't like understand. Like,
well,
I wish you could just separate yourself from it and be like, is this objectively good or bad?
Nope.
But she won't.
Nope.
Like, I don't, because I think there's some interesting, actually, like, subtext in that trailer, in that movie, about, like, controlling public perception and, like, keeping people in fear. Mm-hmm. And kind of, it was a jab at the Homeland Security and NSA. Yeah. It was. Yeah. Robert Redford's playing a character, and he walks across the Homeland Security crest. Like, and then he's like, this is not, like, freedom, this is fear. Which is awesome, because that's something Captain America wouldn't stand for. It's very, like, consistent with his character.
Yeah, it's true.
And so, like, that kind of stuff interests me, but I have a feeling it's not going to be a good movie.
Probably not.
And I don't think the trailer looks terrible, just in my opinion.
I was just, yeah.
But it does kind of make me shrug my shoulders and be like, well, I guess we'll see. Because I'm not going to get excited about a Marvel movie made probably ever again.
Oh, we're still going, though.
It will probably still see all of them, because we're hypocrites. But, like... Because even though, like, I think the Avengers is probably the best one. Well, Iron Man 3 I like more.
I like Iron Man 3 the best.
Yeah. Because that also had a unique director who does not have a background in superhero movies, but had a background in
I think his humor matched Iron Man's humor perfectly.
Yeah, because it's Shane Black. Yep. Shane Black was a writer. Wrote the Lethal Weapon movie.
Hell yeah.
Predator. He was a big action kind of comedy like writer for a while, The Last Boy Scout, and then he directed a movie with Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is actually funny because Iron Man 3 feels a lot like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Actually,
I remember you saying that.
Tonally, it feels a lot like that movie. Yeah, Iron Man 3 was the one I liked the most. Yeah.
I think I'm with you on that.
But I could get behind like going to see an Avengers movie because overall, even though I think the Avengers is okay, I do enjoy it. Like if I were to watch it like every couple of years, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I think Mark Ruffalo did a good Hulk.
Oh, he's fantastic Hulk. Yeah, he is really good. He's really good in that. Actually.
I'm always angry.
That is a really weak part of the Avengers. Like suddenly, Bruce Banner, out of nowhere, learns how to control it. Out of nowhere.
That's his secret.
He was literally fighting Thor in the shield floating palace, whatever you want to call it, and then falls to Earth, and then talks to, what's his name? Just was on the tip of my tongue. Old Man Janitor. And then he comes back, and he just knows how to do it.
Well, maybe it was the talk with the old man.
Sure.
And he's not a janitor, he's a security guard.
Security guard. Oh, god damn, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. He's a fucking awesome character actor. But anyways.
That guy.
But yeah, and then he shows up and he's like, what's my secret? I'm always angry. Which is a great moment.
Yeah.
It's a great moment. But it was not earned. It was not an earned moment.
Oh, shut up.
You just let it go because you're like, that was fucking cool. And that's it. There's no weight behind it. He didn't even go on a journey. Nothing happened that would have led him to that conclusion of, like, I can control this now. No. He just freaked out 10 minutes before in the movie and actually had a throwdown with Thor. Don't give me that shit.
Maybe he did learn something.
Maybe he hit his head on the way down and he's like, oh, that's it. I get it now.
Yeah. And he's a savant, so...
I get it now. I'm super smart. I can figure this out. Bruce Banner, yo.
Hell yeah. Hells to the yeah.
Hells to the yeah. I think the more interesting thing is like when he turned in from Edward Norton into Mark Ruffalo. I wonder how that happened. That seems like the transformation I'd be most concerned about.
Yeah, that is a really strange change.
No, it's
because I understand you were kidding.
I think they kind of did not want Edward Norton in the Avengers. They wanted to recast it.
Well, because Edward Norton tried to have a lot of creative control in that version of the Hulk.
He did have a lot.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, I know.
Because he was the main driving force behind getting it made.
Yeah.
And he wanted... I think he still wanted, like, a lot of creative control when it came to the Avengers. He wanted, like, script approval or something, and they just decided to part ways.
They were like,
Joss Whedon was like, no. Which I think is for the better. Way for the better. Mark Ruffalo is a much better Bruce Banner than Edward Norton was. Edward Norton is just kind of Edward Norton. Like,
that's what you were telling me.
Yeah. Have you ever seen The Incredible Hulk?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you've seen it with Ed Norton.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater. I
think I did too, actually.
And then I think I owned it at one point. I don't know what happened to it.
I do own it. I watched it once since I bought it.
I don't know where it went.
Good old Target sales.
Hells to the yeah.
I think I got it for like $5 or $6.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Want a cookie?
Yeah, actually, I would like a cookie. I don't know. What are any final thoughts? Do you have anything else you'd like to talk about?
No.
Concerning Thor or the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Not really. I'm just depressed now.
It's just oh my god, what a bad movie.
It was bad. I'm kind of sad we went and saw that instead of Bad Grandpa or something. Stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit. I mean, it's objectively it's not the worst thing I've ever seen or anything like that, and it's very sit-throughable. That's like the best I could say about it. I think if I were to try to watch it again, I would just get bored and probably turn it off.
Yeah.
I don't think I would just have like the willpower to just want to sit through it, even casually. I'd probably just be really bored. I don't know.
I don't think I'm not really super amped to watch it again. Maybe I am just maybe one more time, just to give it another try.
I think I like to give everything at least twice. Like, give it like a couple times, actually formulate like a more, I don't know, intellectual opinion about it, if you want to call it that, if you want to be pretentious.
Yes, I love being pretentious.
Yeah.
Jerk.
I don't know, like, it just... Oh, I have a question for you.
Sure.
I know this is DC versus Marvel type deal.
Sure.
Man of Steel or Thor: The Dark World?
Ooh.
Yeah. Which we're going to watch Man of Steel again.
Okay.
Comes out tomorrow, so we'll be watching
I'd probably
that.
watch Thor before I watch Man of Steel again.
Really?
I was really bored during Man of Steel.
So was I, but I still think Man of Steel is better. And Man of Steel is confused as fuck and doesn't even understand its main character.
True.
Does not understand the ethos of its main character, which is just bizarre. They redefine Superman in ways that make him nothing like Superman.
No, that's very true.
Odd as fuck.
I mean, I'll rewatch both, but...
Oh, we are. We're watching Man of Steel.
Okay.
It's happening. Because I would really like to have, like, oh, but you're not a Superman person, though.
No, but I could be for a discussion.
I would love for you, because, I got into not Man of Steel. I got into Superman, like, much later in life. I did not really like him as a kid, because I thought he was boring.
You dressed up as him, though.
I did. When I was a teenager, like, actively reading comics, like, I had no interest in really following Superman stories. Like, I read, like, the Life and Death of Superman and stuff like that. Like, the big stuff. And I read a couple other, like, big arcs. But, like, nothing... It's just... I always just found him kind of boring, and I didn't find that, like, he was a character that I could empathize with in any real way, because he's, like, a god, and, like, I'm never really super concerned that he's going to be hurt or anything. It wasn't until... And then I didn't really like him, and then it made me retroactively actually like him more. It was after I read Grant Morrison's like All-Star Superman.
All-Star Superman, so I was going to say you were going to probably tell me to read.
Yeah.
Maybe I will.
Because it humanizes him in a character because he has to deal with mortality. Like, that's one of the through lines of the story, is him dealing with mortality. And what they do, and Grant Morrison's just great at this, is takes the entire history of Superman and recontextualizes it with, like, this new reality that he has to exist in. So it's kind of like almost very like Hercules and the
Trials.
And the Trials. Very much like that. Because he kind of just goes through... It's very episodic, and it kind of just goes through, like, every issue is, like, a different... Dealing with, like, a different period of Superman's, like, history.
Yeah.
Like, as a character. And, like, you realize, like, what a good character he was. Like, actually seeing it from a different perspective. Like, it actually makes him a better character. Makes Lex Luthor a more... interesting villain. Like, it just does a lot of really great stuff.
Well, maybe I'll have to peruse that.
And then Man of Steel, the movie, it's just like, how could you be so far off, like, track, like, with this fucking character? It just destroyed the character. He's not fucking Superman. Like, it's so weird. It's weird.
Wait, he's not fucking Superman?
Well, he probably does. He probably jerks off. He probably fucks himself. Or maybe he can run around the world so fast he can get his dick in his butt.
Oh my god. So we just go there.
Story old as time.
Tale as old as time.
Dick and butt as old as time. Superman has sex with himself, everybody.
That's the conclusion we just came to.
This and more on My Future Has Been Facefucked podcast, episode 16.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Thor the Dark World or The Dark Knight Rises?
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, I agree. Thor the Dark World and the Nazi occupation.
That's unfair.
Nazi occupation.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any other humorous comparisons I can make. Thor the Dark World or Daredevil? Wait. Director's cut.
Daredevil. Director's cut.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd rather watch Daredevil than Thor the Dark World?
Yeah.
At least Daredevil has like a fucking completion arc.
There's some fun moments in Daredevil.
Yeah. It's not very good. It's not even that it's like so campy. And then wants to be like dark, but like what a 12-year-old thinks is cool dark. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Same thing in this Mark Johnson or whatever the dude's name is, the director, because he also directed Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider's the same way.
Hells to the yeah!
Ghost Rider's the same way as what an 11-year-old would think would be like dark and edgy and cool.
Nicolas Cage.
And Nicolas Cage doing his thing, man.
Being Nicky Cage.
You never saw the sequel, did you?
No.
Oh, dude, I saw the shit out of that movie. Because I was like, the directors of Crank made it, so I was like, oh man, that's going to be awesome. And then the movie's not that great.
Yeah, duh.
Which is weird, because it had so much potential. It's like Ghost Rider being directed by the dudes from Crank. And, like, man, you take Crank for what it is, you just accept that it's going to be, like, a dumb movie, and Crank is awesome.
Yeah.
It's fucking retarded. Crank 2, one of the greatest sequels ever made. Because it's literally the same story as Crank 1, but just turned up to 11.
Oh my god.
It's awesome.
You're absurd.
It's so good. It's like watching a live-action cartoon. It's so absurd. It's so much fun. Like, Jason Statham is so much fun in that movie.
I love Jason Statham.
That's like almost like an unofficial, like a secret superhero movie. Because, like, people can't live through that shit. He hooks himself up to a car battery.
No, I know.
It's awesome.
I know the premise.
His face is on fire at one point. It's awesome. That movie kicks so much ass. Anyways.
Tangent.
Apologies. As you should expect from My future has been face-fucked. Like, you're listening to a podcast. If you're listening to this and you made it far, I want you to know you're listening to a podcast called My Future Has Been Face-Fucked. How reliable of a consistent, speaker do you think I'm going to be? Do you think this is just free-flowing thoughts, man? This is just information, baby.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Sarah's supposed to keep me on track, but she had to work all day, so she's kind of tired.
Yeah, a little bit.
So she can't keep me on track. She can't rein me in today. This is just goddamn madness.
No, this is Sparta.
Another Zack Snyder film.
Yeah.
300.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Zack Snyder is only a good director when he has good material. And I think 300 sucks, by the way. Okay, I take that back. I think it is visually interesting and kind of boring.
Just like the comic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good adaptation of the comic book, actually. As a straightforward adaptation.
With some weird stuff added in about the Queen.
Yeah. Gotta have that intrigue. Slow motion sex scenes. Zack Snyder, action. Speed ramping. Punch.
Action.
Muscles. Muscles! Flex!
Hell yeah. Terry Crews.
Terry Crews, y'all.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We're so off track now. We're
I don't even know. How do we even get back?
Going off the rails on a crazy train.
Okay, well, I mean, we said we'd flip it, so we're going to do what we do usually in the beginning, is, kind of just make some recommendations that are on streaming services and whatnot, and if you want to talk about anything we've watched, you can feel free to do that.
Shark Tank is fun.
Shark Tank, the ABC program Shark Tank, we got Hulu Plus again.
We have a love-hate with Hulu Plus.
If you follow us on our journey, the 16-episode journey, you'll realize somewhere in the middle of that journey, we had Hulu Plus. And then I
accidentally early deleted it.
Early canceled our 2-month free thing, and we only got to watch it for a month.
A month early.
Yeah. And then,
asshole. It was so.
And then I started watching MasterChef Junior on YouTube, and I wanted to watch the finale right after it premiered and didn't want to have to wait, so we got Hulu Plus again. And that sent us on a nightmarish reality show trip this weekend.
Yeah. Secret Millionaire, kind of dumb.
Yeah, because it's a great. That's actually good. That's a good thing to talk about. Secret Millionaire on ABC. What is the premise of Secret Millionaire, sir?
Secret Millionaire is about millionaires that.
Hey now, that makes sense.
Yeah, that go in secret. Get the whoa. Mm-hmm. They go in secret to towns and meet people in the community. At least the one I watched, because I fell asleep. They go under the guise as volunteers for aspects of say they're new to this town.
Yeah.
We watched one. I watched one from Baltimore because I'm from Baltimore, so I was curious, and then I fell asleep. Yeah. I started falling asleep at the end of that one anyway. But what she did was it was the owner of Auntie Anne's Pretzels, the famous pretzel food chain in the malls. Mostly.
In the mall spaces.
Mostly. I mean, I'm sure there's some freestanding ones somewhere. She's from Pennsylvania, so they sent her to Baltimore, which is probably one of the closest cities. I don't know why she didn't go to freaking, Philly or Pittsburgh.
But anyways, continue the concept, please.
And so she went, oh, you can tangent, but I can't? Fuck you.
My tangents, Sarah.
Oh, shut up. Anyway, so, she went to Baltimore under the guise of being someone who just moved to the town, and she just meets people on the street that hand her advice for, community organizations, charity groups, and she goes and volunteers, and then finds the real people that are impacting the community, and then they reveal their identity, and they give them money.
Yeah. It's these community, to, support, kind of just basically help out poor people and outreach programs, and like you said.
Yeah, so she helped out in the one in Baltimore. She helped out.
You know what though? I'll say this: it is extremely. It's a kind of a neat idea, and it's ultimately a good thing. I think it spends a little bit too much time with them just patting themselves on the back at the end, love me, look what I'm doing for you. Which the lady that went to Baltimore kind of did. I mean, there's an element of sincerity. She's like, oh, you guys are actually doing really great things and stuff, but she kind of makes a spectacle of herself a little bit. Anyways, but they give a lot of money. It's not like $10,000.
It's not like Undercover Boss.
No, exactly, yeah. Which we did not watch any more of. She gave, like, the Rosswood Park, like the really poor community outreach program. She gave Rosewood.
Or Rose Street.
Rose Street? Yeah, Rose Street. Rosswood Park was the garden. I think.
Anyway.
Or am I thinking of something else? No.
Continue.
It's not called Rosewood Park. But anyways, she gave them $65,000.
No, she gave... Yeah.
And then she gave this other one, Carrie Cares.
Carrie
Cares, like this outreach program that helps like families pay medical bills when their kids have like
terminally ill and make them comfortable in hospitals, like giving them pajamas.
Yeah, exactly. Going there, spending time with them, throwing kind of events for the kids to come to a safe place and have fun and
like
stuff
a carnival.
like that. Yeah, she gave them $45,000.
Yeah.
Then she gave.
This was my favorite
Lewis.
one. Yeah, Lewis. He's a gardener in a community garden who he actually takes plants and gives them to a soup kitchen. But he's like this 70-year-old man with an eye patch.
Yeah. She gave him a cool $5,000 and a new rototiller.
Yep, and he was so happy about that rototiller.
Yeah, she gave him $5,000 just for himself.
Yeah.
Like, it was really cool.
Because he spends the money he uses,
he gets a pension, he puts it into the garden.
Yep, that's what he does. He gardens all day. And it's a really pretty garden.
Especially in considering the area it's in. I mean, seriously.
Middle of downtown, East Baltimore.
It's actually where they filmed The Wire. All this stuff's from The Wire.
Yeah.
That's where they filmed The Wire.
Yeah.
A lot of The Wire.
East Baltimore.
Whenever they have to deal with black people.
Yeah, East Baltimore. And the Greeks. The Greeks are also in East Baltimore.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Baltimore expert.
Well, I'm from there.
Yeah, I know you're from there.
I better be. I live there. I lived in the city.
No, yeah.
So we watched that. What else did we watch? Shark Tank, which is pretty interesting.
Shark Tank's interesting.
It gets kind of grating after a few episodes.
Yeah, because you have a panel of basically 5 entrepreneurs, all really millionaires, very successful people, and people come pitch ideas and kind of basically try to ask for money for part of their business, like a percentage of their equity, what the business is worth and stuff like that, so that they'll get returns and whatnot. Very super interesting premise. It's kind of cool because you can have some small upstarts that are smart and have their shit together can actually get a leg up. Because these people also have contacts, because they want to make money. They want to make not only their investments back, but they want to make money, so they have a vested interest in actually these small companies succeeding.
Yeah, and a lot of them become super successful after being on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Because not only that, it's just free exposure because you're on network television with your product. And a lot of these people, most of these people, they've been businesses for a year to 5 years. Kind of just toiling and trying to get a leg up and start, and this is the way to do it. It does get a little bit grating, but I love some of the interplay between the panelists because they will call each other out on trying to screw people over. I love that lady. I don't know her last name, Barbara. She's the older woman.
Yeah.
And she will call people out and be like, you are trying to screw these people.
In front of the people.
In front of the people. This all happens they don't send the pictures away and then talk amongst themselves. No, it's all live in front of them. And her, and surprisingly enough, Mark Cuban are fairly honest.
Yeah.
And they've actually gone other people are trying to give these small business people bad deals, and they'll come in and be like, "We'll give you a better deal," even after they've already said no, just so those people can't screw them over.
Yeah.
That happened one time actually.
Yep.
And that was kind of really cool to see, and that's the part of the show that I enjoy the most is they're trying to stay on the level as much as possible, and it's also just I'm interested in just seeing what people create and stuff like that as far as inventions and products and shit like that. It is kind of interesting.
Yep.
In a human interest capacity, I suppose.
Yeah, and then we watched MasterChef Junior.
MasterChef Junior, which makes you hate children.
A little bit. Because
those kids can cook and they know terms and.
A 9-year-old fried sardines. With the heads on. And
no, they're making, 5-star restaurant quality meals.
The one guy was like, I'd pay $45 for this dish.
And seriously...
It was made by, a 10-year-old.
We're talking, no shit. It's 10-year-olds. 9-year-olds. The oldest one is 13, who ended up... Winning. It's fucking crazy what they can do. I mean, they're probably just spoiled little rich kids, but I can't take away their, natural ability.
No.
You can't take that away from them. And that's the only disappointing thing about that show is, like, I don't feel like these kids' lives are going to be significantly changed by being on that show or winning it. Like, it's not like, this is their big break or anything.
The prize is good, though.
The prize is, like...
They got $100,000 and then a scholarship to any culinary institute they want to go to when they're older.
Yeah. And also...
Which, for that 13-year-old,
but most importantly, the MasterChef Junior trophy, Sarah. Let's not forget about that.
That looks like...
The glass monstrosity.
Looks like a dildo.
Kind of. It looks like, it looks like a Twizzler that's cut at an angle, but made of glass.
With an M on top.
Yeah. Their nifty logo.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. But it was really cool, because I just enjoy cooking shows. I think I've said this before, but, like, I just enjoy, like, cooking shows and stuff like that, so... But to see kids do it, I kind of had my mind blown a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was... When you were telling me about it, I was like, oh, you didn't wait for me to watch that show? Because it was really interesting. And Gordon Ramsay, come on.
And Gordon Ramsay is awesome.
Duh.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all we really watched this weekend.
Yeah, but we wanted to make sure we got something out there about Thor.
Yeah, we want to do the Thor thing first.
Which we spent a good time with.
Yeah.
For a little overtime.
But anyways, do you have anything that you'd like to recommend to anybody? What are your recommendations for this week, sir?
I don't really have any.
Have you come prepared?
No, I have not come prepared.
I have a Hulu recommendation and a Netflix recommendation.
Go for it.
My Netflix recommendation is Skyfall. Skyfall. You crawl. Or something. I don't know the words to it. But Skyfall is on Netflix now, which is a movie I was kind of lukewarm on when I first saw it.
Yeah.
And I haven't rewatched it since it's been on Netflix. Just a couple days ago it was put on there. But because I saw it twice when it was in theaters, and I liked it a lot more the second time I saw it. And I kind of want to revisit it again, watch it again. Like,
I would like to finish it. I was really bored. Yeah.
Here's the story, folks. First time in my life this has ever happened. I've ever done this. Sarah and I went to see Skyfall. We first met each other. We went to see Skyfall at midnight premiere of Skyfall.
After working. Well, I was working.
Yeah, I think I had the day off.
Yeah.
And we distracted each other. Let's say that. And we were being bad moviegoers. Bad moviegoers, man. And, like, I think I made some, like, kind of... Screwdriver concoction. Got a little tipsy. And that's just a shitty way to watch a movie. Especially something you kind of have to pay attention to.
And especially that late at night. And especially after I've been at work.
After being tired and, like, whatever. So we ended up leaving as soon as the movie started getting interesting. But in our defense, it does take an hour before that happens.
Yeah.
It's a long movie. It's like 2.5 hours long, and not much happens. And there's some character stuff, and it's good, because I watched it again, and I was like, okay. Like,
yeah, then Sean went and saw it, and I didn't,
and
so.
Like, yeah, I was like, okay, I'm okay with it. Like, it was my favorite one. Even of the Daniel Craig ones. I think Casino Royale still maybe edges out a little bit. But overall, it's pretty good, and I haven't seen it since then, so I was kind of excited to revisit it.
I'll watch it and see.
And then on Hulu Plus, there is a fantastic documentary about the entire legacy of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. It's like a 4-hour documentary. Even if you're only kind of interested in like Nightmare on Elm Street or even like it, it is a super fascinating documentary, just like the evolution of the series and how it was made, because it spends a really good amount of time with every movie.
Oh, that's cool.
In the series, and it goes through the whole thing, and you see how it grew and like why decisions were made, and they're very candid about it. Like, they're not precious about it. Like, some of them flat up like, no, that movie sucks. Like, so it's not like pandering or anything. It's very like honest.
Yeah.
From the creators, you get a lot of honesty out of them in that documentary. Because it's not made by like New Line or anything. It's just like a independently made retrospective, and it's really good. And it's on Hulu Plus.
Cool.
And I would recommend that.
Sweet deal.
I recommend the shit out of it. I really liked it. I've actually watched it like 3 times in my life.
Oh, wow.
Not on Hulu Plus. I just noticed that it was on there. But
Okay.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Also on Hulu Plus, Criterion, they have a lot of Criterion films on there. And I would recommend the original Blob.
Blob, 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 blob.
The Blob, starring Steve McQueen.
Ooh.
Good stuff.
Sounds like good stuff.
Yeah, very good stuff. Well, I think we've talked quite long enough.
Yes.
Yeah. It's late.
It is.
We're done.
Finito.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right, I'm Sean.
I'm Sarah.
And thanks for listening, everybody. We will talk to you guys again next week. Or we're told we'll talk to each other and you listen to us talk, because we're not actually
talking to you.
Well, I am talking at you, but I'm talking at you from the past. You're in the future. This is borderline time travel.
It is.
Oh my god.
My mind is blown.
Discoveries. Goodbye.